And now it's finally time to test the brand new Z790 based system on LN2. So Core i9 1300K CPU and 2 sticks of Hynix A-die based memory. On air cooling this time around without any heatsink, as I want to test the whole platform first, and then afterwards I will test the memory on LN2 as well. So EVGA Z790 Dark Kingpin without any heatsink on the VRM at all, as this is an engineering sample version of the motherboard. Galax 710 GT Fish graphics card just to display the monitor, signal and Superflower LEADX 8-pack 2000 watt power supply. So I just have Windows 10 ready to go, so I will just test the 2D overclocking of the CPU like Cinebench, Geekbench, etc. And this time around, cold bug is actually back. That's why we didn't see any liquid helium results this far, as many of these CPUs cannot actually hit the maximum temperature of LN2. Only some CPUs can do full pot, and seems that the only voltage that really affects the maximum temperature is the input voltage, so the VCCIN. So some CPUs you need to raise the input voltage to like 2.2 volts or even higher, like 2.3 to 2.4, to be able to reach the maximum temperature of LN2, so minus 196 or close to it. But yeah, without further ado, I'll start pouring and I'll see how this goes. So we are aiming for pretty high, as many of the vendors managed to do very high frequencies on the CPU, like 7.5 GHz plus in multi-core tests like Geekbench 3, Cinebench, etc. But yeah, let's hope for the best. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now I will just, out of curiosity, I will disable the atom cores, like completely. So 0, we keep hyperthreading enabled and the P cores enabled. So now we can go straight to like 70, 60, so 1.65. Okay, so the top score is at 12,000 and a bit under 400 by SafeDisk from South Korea, who benches usually for Asus at 7.6 plus. So it's definitely still some headroom to go, but let's try our best anyways. So this is and this is for the 8-core category, so without the atom cores running. So let's try this first, and then we can push. We definitely need at least 7.5. Need to do a bit easier increments. Could we beat 12,000 now? And yeah, 2.1 input instead of 1.95. So we are getting there. So now the real challenge is over here. 7.5, 6.3 on the cache. Let's hope for the best. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Tiny bit of increase over there. So 7,450 or 60-ish, closing in on 7.5. They are definitely not going to be able to challenge the top score made by SafeDisk, as you need like 7.7 for that one. Yeah, it kind of shows how tremendous the CPU binning is nowadays with these newest platforms. Oh well, it has been like so for many years already. So close to 7.5. I think this should hit 12,000. Yeah, it crashes. But yeah, here's the setting table for hwbot temperatures, so I just put it like 7.4 straight away, 6.3. Currently Atom cores are disabled. FLL override at mode 1. V core best value has been between 1.65 and 1.73-ish. But of course you can fine tune that with the low line calibration. Currently I use the same one I used the water, so minus 75%. You can use even a tiny bit lower low line calibration, like minus 25 or minus 50%. So you will have a tiny bit of droop when measured under load at dice sense. So you don't really need. I even tested the common sub voltages and they didn't affect my performance at all. Input you should only raise if needed be. So I actually had a tiny bit better end result with input value of 1.9 to 1.95 compared to 2.1. So you shouldn't be going like very high unless you really need it for like hwbot temperatures and everything. But yeah, so now I'll just keep on trying, like I'll try to get the memories to the desired values I want. So yeah, and now I changed the memory sticks to my new ones from the bow, and DDR5 8800 on air cooling on the memory sticks, 1.78 volts. These settings I actually forgot from my previous attempt, so I think I can tighten the cache latency back to 34 and TRCD, TRP down to like 46, 47, 48. So I'll just keep trying. 89185. So I'm a bit behind, but yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm definitely just limited by the CPU in any ways, or in any case. So 100.7. So the cores number 2 and 5, well, clearly the 5th core is the strongest core on this CPU. So I passed 1M at 8.1 GHz, but yeah, definitely not enough for 32M top score. But of course, I can still use much higher voltage. I'm only at 1.74 volts, and I think the top guys used values of like maybe 1.85, 1.9 for the single threaded tests. So yeah, so no like clear winners for the actual cores, but yeah, the 5th core is definitely awesome. So 8.1. Okay, so the Y Cruncher 1 billion might be the only top score I'm getting like this time around. So now let's try it again. 5.6 E cores, 7.2 to 7.3 on the P cores, as we are using AVX negative offset of 1 to prevent the CPU from falling. And okay, that's the only top score I'm getting this time around, I'm pretty sure. So Y Cruncher 1 billion, record score in the 24 core category, so with 13900K, running with all of the P cores and the available E cores. So 24 physical cores and 32 threads. and this was with air-cooled memory, and we managed to beat the previous top score by safe disk by like 0.010 seconds. So that's like, is it like 10 milliseconds, whatever. So yeah, and he was running like 7.4 to 7.5, and we only used a frequency of 7.3 because we have so awesome memories. DDR5 8600, he used like DDR5 7800 with LN2 cooled M die. So this is air cooled A die, easily beats LN2 cooled M die. So you definitely need to get your hands on some of this brand new A die memory from Hynix. This is absolutely awesome. So let's try again. So 14.03 was the previous top score by safe disk. We got 14.02, and now we want to try, that might be on the edge, so I will try 6.2 cache, 5.7 atom, and then we might try 7.3 to 7.4 on the P cores. Okay, and we passed once again. 13938 at 7.3 to 7.4, max effective clock 7364. So yeah, the AVX negative offset of 1 should be kicking in as it should. 8600. And now we will try, I want to try B clock because raising the memory will give a larger benefit on this test compared to the CPU frequency itself. That's why OGS from Greece absolutely dominated the 8-core category with the 12900K because they had amazing CPU with amazing IMC back then. So now let's put 100.8. This might crash already. Okay, crashed. Mm-hmm. And okay, that's the second top score I managed to achieve on this session. So rank 1 score in Geekbench 4 in the 24 core category, 127,275, like 2,000 point increase over the previous top score made by Extreme Addict from Poland. 7.4 GHz on the P cores, 5.8 on the Atom cores, and cache at 6.3, and memory at DDR5 8600, cache 34. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll be stopping now, I think. So we have managed to max out the 1300K CPU. Maybe average, don't know, but definitely not among the absolute best CPUs. And okay, that's pretty much it. So I had a very extensive LN2 session with the Raptor Lake 13th gen 1300K CPU. So I managed to max out the CPU like completely, both in the 24 core and in the 8 core category. So the P cores were maxing out like somewhere between 7.3 and 7.6 plus gigahertz. It did vary a bit, like when I was running all of the available cores, so in 24 core category, I could run every single test at least at 7.3 gigahertz. And when I was running only the P cores, the maximum ended up being somewhere between like 7.45 and 7.5, and in GPUPI 1 billion I think the frequency was like at 7.6 to 7.7 plus. And of course when I tested the cores individually, the best cores were somewhere around like 8.1 on the core 2 and core 5. In SuperPi 32M I could run close to 8 GHz. So I definitely need a better CPU if I want to do a competitive score in SuperPi 32M test as well, which I would really like to do. And yeah, Atom cores, they were maxing out somewhere around like 5.8 to 5.9. Surprisingly, they didn't like high Atom voltage this time around. So the best Atom voltage ended up being 1.35 volts, which is very low for LN2 cooled system. I tried higher, but like 1.4, 1.45, 1.5, it only gave issues. Like all of the weird like hangs at the initial post process, like 06 and 27 debug codes, I think they were because of too high Atom like clock speed and voltage. So if you face very weird like debug hangs when you try to load your initial settings like 06 or 27, try to load your like air-cooled settings first so you can train the memory like successfully, and then bring the CPU up as you want. So that's what I did, and I managed to bypass the 06 and 27 debug code hangs just like that. But yeah, so cache, I think maximum ended up being like between 6.3 and 6.5, but I didn't max it out completely, and there's no need because it doesn't really impact the performance that much. But yeah, so if I want to do a competitive score, the P cores need to be at higher frequency. So you need to find a CPU that can run 5.9 on the P cores on water cooling, like on strong water cooling, whatever. So need to be able to run like 7.6 plus in Cinebench, etc. This time around, not even close to it at like 7.4 to 7.5. The only scores where I managed to break the current top score were Y-Cruncher 1 billion in the 24 core category, as well as Geekbench 4 in the 24 core category. I didn't run Geekbench 4 in the 8 core category, but yeah, so Y-Cruncher 1 billion, pretty nice numbers at lower frequency compared to what SafeDisk from South Korea was running, but I ran much better memories, and memory really makes a huge difference in Y-Cruncher 1 billion. In 8 core category, you cannot break the current top score with the 1300K, as we don't have any Raptor Lake 1300K or KF which has AVX512 support. AVX512 makes a huge difference in Y-Cruncher 1 billion, as that software can utilize those instruction sets, and the top scores are held by 12th gen CPUs that managed to have AVX512 support. But yeah, so at least I managed to get something. Next, what I will be trying will be my current best retail 1300KF and also the 13600K. So these are pretty much the results for the 1300K. I will upload all of those scores to hwbot.org. So definitely check them out if you are interested in these scores, even though they aren't at the very highest level in many of those tests like Cinebench R20, Geekbench 3, etc. But at least I got something, and some of the scores are actually pretty okay. For example, the Geekbench 3 runs, and of course the white runs around Geekbench 4. But yeah, so very easy platform to run on LN2. So getting to hwbot temperatures is pretty easy as long as your CPU can actually do the hwbot temperatures. It seems you cannot impact overly much on the maximum temperature with the available settings inside the BIOS. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for tuning in for this Z790 LN2 overclocking content. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to support my work, then please check out my Patreon page as well. And thanks for watching one of my videos once again, and I will see you on the next one.